Hello, Dad. This is Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast, and today's topic is this: drawing your emotions. Let's do it.
Hi, my name's Niko, and you're listening to my dad, Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast. Thanks for listening. Pretty good. Now can we listen to it?
Yep. So, one of the kind of techniques that we've been offering Niko in expressing himself better so he can understand him better and he can work through things easier is having him, when he's having a difficult time, offering him to draw out what he's feeling. And this was a suggestion that came from a book that we read a couple of years ago. Excuse me. It's got a really long title. I think I've mentioned it before. It's something like How to Talk to Your Children So Your Children Will Listen to You, or Talk to Your Kids, or something like that. It's super long, a classic, and really, really good tips on helping a kiddo start to navigate their emotional life on their own. And part of it is not telling them what they feel when they're having an upset, or sometimes you suggest like, wow, it seems like you're feeling ... rather than saying like, wow, I can tell you're really mad right now. Maybe you should do this or something. And they might not be feeling mad, but they might get mad at you telling them what they're feeling. They might be feeling sad or frustrated or something different, right? So that was one strategy. But one of them was, especially with kiddos that are smaller and don't have the vocabulary yet to tell you exactly what they're feeling. And even when they do have a vocabulary, Dad, they're not going to be able to really understand it. You're helping them figure that out. But one strategy is to have them draw it. And this was used, he used it. It was offered, and he used it just a week ago or so, when at one of the pickups, his mom came over and we needed to talk about some things that had been going on with him at school and things that he'd been saying, and trying to get at the bottom of it. I can't even remember what he was upset about, or what excuse me, was the challenge. What I remember, though, is her and I doing it in the way that we did at this pickup after dinner on his way back to his mom's on the weekend did not go well, and it wasn't the time to do it. One, for him. Two, in the way we were conducting it, it was really, he felt very much on the spot, and it just didn't go well. But in him trying to explain it, we're like, I don't know, and yes, and he was kind of like just saying yes to anything I would say and yes to anything his mom would say, and we weren't getting anywhere. So his mom has suggested, like, well, do you want to, like, in the situation that we're talking about at school, like, do you want to draw like what you feel? And he's like, yes. So he stomps over and he goes to the closet where all the drawing stuff is. He comes back with a piece of paper, comes back with his set of pens, and he drew the picture that it's actually the podcast artwork for this episode. If you haven't seen it, it's basically a stick drawing of a person drawn in a red marker with a sad / angry face, and I can't recall exactly, but like the hands, there's a lot of energy in the hands of it. And it was really, really descriptive. I mean, one, going to get a piece of paper and then drawing it out, he chose a red pen, which is classic as anger. And in his school, actually, the school is like very into, and had been just even that week, talking about emotions and what color goes with that emotions, and just giving him more of a vocabulary of things. But he chose red because he was angry, and the face definitely looked angry about it. And so I looked at it, and his mom looked at it, and we both said, like, well, let's look at this, and I'll tell you what I see in it, and you can tell me if that's right or not. We both looked at it and we're like, that looks like an angry kid. And he said, yes, I'm angry. I'm like, okay, great. So what are you angry about? What part of it is? Well, they do this. And it was like some kid at school that was bothering him. And so we got to the bottom of it and we were able to like work it out with or help him work it out with his teacher. And, fast forward a couple of weeks, like it subsided. So that's good. But had we stuck on the path of tell me what's going on, like what is it, and him either not wanting to say it out loud or him not really knowing what word to use it and feeling like these two adults that speak and know words much better than him, or he was intimidated by it, or what, it just was another strategy, Dad, to use. And so definitely we had started that with Niko, like maybe it was like 3, and I've definitely not used that as like a major tool, although or a tool I bring out very often. I don't really remember it until this happened just a week ago, and I put it in the back of my mind to like try that could be something to use again. And I saved the picture because it was sad that he's feeling angry and he's dealing and having to deal with that. But, anger is a part of life, and him drawing it out in this way then sparked the conversation that helped shift it for him because it was acknowledged. And then also it then allowed us to understand what was going on better so we could help him through it. So I kept it again as a reminder that is a tool that could be used. And if you're finding like with your, I don't know if a 2-year-old's necessarily going to be doing it, but like 3 and up, I mean, we started using it with Niko at 3. It doesn't mean that a 2-year-old couldn't do that. But that is another tool, like, and along with this book, like it had suggested that, but to start describing words and emotions to give them the vocabulary that they might start being able to use itself. So it was planting seeds for him to be able to do it himself. So with this drawing, it's another way of kind of accessing, from what I understand, like that creative brain, maybe a little unconscious brain, of just drawing pictures and kind of looking at them. Not that it has to be like art therapy and you're having to analyze every picture. Sometimes it's just super simple of, okay, like he likes drawing rainbows because they're happy and he gets to use all the pens and everything. It doesn't necessarily mean anything more than that. But again, another tool that might have done. And I'm curious to hear if you guys have used any other tools besides, or have used this tool before and it's worked. Any other fine-tuning that or tips that you could share would be helpful. But then also in helping that conversation, whether you've had kids that you remember at 5 and 6 years old, what worked and what's working now, or you're going through it at the exact same time and you're finding success with something or needing challenges or needing help with things like this, post it in the Slack group and let's get a thread going to help each other in any way we can. Because I know I want to have as many tools available for him to be just dialed in emotionally with what's going on, so he can not necessarily talk with me about it, but be able to verbalize it and identify what's going on within himself and his own emotional world, so that he can shift what needs to be shifted or that he wants to shift, because he's identified what's going on first, and then he can take action to help solve that. Not to just get rid of it, but to work through it. That's what I want for him, and that's what's coming up with all the different emotions that he is going through. So until next time, dads, I hope this was helpful. I want you to take care of yourself, take good care of your family, and we'll connect on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to that episode. Guess what? My dad just formed a new thing. It's called a Slack group.
What's that?
I don't know. You can find more about it and join if you go to the childhoodjourney.com. See you there. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.